Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Top of the Bottom podcast. Jay is not here right now. He couldn't make it for today's shoot, but he will be back in the next few episodes. So instead, today I've brought my brother back, Nemo. Nemo, how you doing today?
Awful. I want to kill myself.
I could tell because you got your Clippers gear on, so that makes a whole lot of sense. And
the comeback begins. It does.
I'm excited to talk about the Clippers because they've been going through a lot this season. Not only are they one of the worst teams in the NBA, but they've had a lot of off-the-court scandals as well. I actually, in my prediction with Coach Tony for who was going to make the NBA playoffs, I believe I left the Clippers off the list. I have to go back and check that episode. But I had figured that the Timberwolves would win it all. I think they're still in good position to, but I at least expected the Clippers to do better than they are now. I also expected the Warriors to miss the playoffs, and it seems like that's going to happen with them. They had got John Collins, they got Bradley Beal, they had Brook Lopez, and it seems like the best player on the entire team right now isn't Kawhi Leonard. It's not James Harden. It's Ivica Zubac. As you as a Clippers fan, did you expect this to be the same like every other season, or did you think they'd be better?
I expected this dumpster fire, a slow unravel of pain. Kind of expected it, with no Russell Westbrook, no Norman Powell. Norman Powell, my fantasy team, is like spitting out almost 30 points a game or something like that. Westbrook is doing pretty good too. We started off maybe the first couple of games slow, but yeah. So you got no Westbrook and Westbrook.
Oh, did you say Westbrook?
Westbrook. And you don't got him coming off of the bench. You don't got Powell. You don't got basically no one. You got a bunch of people. I remember when I played the game back in 2006, 2008. When you play, what was it?
Corey McGiddy.
NBA Live and 2K. It's like these are all stars of yesteryear. Like, might as well call back Shaq and all these other people and just say like, oh, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, the Clippers right now are the oldest team in the league by average age at I believe 33.
But and they get Batum is gone. He's some French guy. They have him like, oh, he's gonna do great. All right for what you need. He leaves, then he comes back and they make this big announcement like he's back, like he's such a big player, like he's a LeBron. It's like, really? Batum? Really? No.
Batum.
I think I got like his bobblehead and I kept it because it's Clipper stuff, but I'm like, I don't want this.
Well, he's been with the Clippers for 7 years, hasn't he? Like,
It's been a while, but he's not as important. He's there for if you need someone like to fill in a spot, but if you would rather choose him or someone who's useful, I'll go with someone who's useful.
the Clippers. It's a staple of the Clippers to have a biracial, light-skinned black man on their team, Frenchman. If you've noticed, before him it was Shane Battier. If that name recalls the bell from 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. Like that was, he was with the Clippers for a really long time, and he was also a Frenchman who was a very light-skinned black French player. And now they've got Nicolas Batum. It's a staple. I'm surprised Tony Parker never joined them.
DEI programs are really kicking in.
I mean, it's always been the case. They started off on other teams, but eventually they all just joined the Clippers. I don't know if that's because it's still LA or because they actually believe in the team. But the Clippers are really struggling, although they did beat the Lakers recently. But the Lakers are really playing really bad right now. They're number 5 in the whole Western Conference. But JJ Redick went out and called them a terrible basketball team. He said,
I saw the highlights. He was disappointed in LeBron. Looking at him like he just witnessed him like steal something. Just watching him like, the fuck is your problem?
Yeah, he was over at the Suns bench, just chatting away with the young guys from the Suns, and it's really interesting to see how it looks when LeBron doesn't care about the team that he's on. You could tell normally LeBron had cared for a long time, and now this is like him trying to leave the Lakers because he doesn't like the fact that Luka is the guy. He doesn't want to play second fiddle. So it's interesting to see what the Lakers are going to do. They say they're going to trade him. There's a lot of them.
I heard were you going to mention a crazy rumor?
No.
There's a crazy rumor out there saying that the Lakers secretly want Kawhi Leonard and that they were going to trade Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers, and they're wondering if they're going to throw LeBron in there, trade him to the Clippers, and trade Kawhi to the Lakers, which is just ridiculous because I don't know if LeBron could fix the Clipper team second. Um, Kawhi's knee is going to give out in any minute. It could be just right now. He could be going to the bathroom right now, and his knee will probably go up. So you're not going to even be getting anything of value. That trade would happen. I mean, the Clippers would have to get like some cheap players, like they always do. Trade decent players for even players who are basically 68 overall on 2K. That's what they've been known to be doing, trading their good players for all these nobodies to save money, maybe to get a big star next year. But I doubt they're going to trade Kawhi. They're just going to ride it out.
Kawhi tosses in bed and he tweaks something.
Yeah.
That he's like made of more glass than Anthony Davis is, or as they call him, Data Davis. Anthony Davis has two nicknames. They call him Data Davis and Street Clothes. Because he's always injured and he's always in street clothes on the sidelines watching his team play.
Kawhi dropped 55 though, a career high. And for that, they're like,
he's trying to raise his trade value.
I get all those emails and they're like, for his historic career high, 55 points, $55 lower wall seats. It's like, people really aren't showing up anymore, huh?
Yeah, they so LeBron has a no trade clause, so he has to approve any trade the Lakers make. And given what Rich Paul says, who's LeBron's agent, he says that LeBron is looking to play some meaningful basketball with a chance at a championship. So I don't believe he'll be going to the Clippers anytime soon, because I don't think, one, they're playing any meaningful basketball, and I don't think they're going to chase a championship anytime soon. I do know that there was the idea that they'll trade him to the Warriors, because he's expressed in the past that he wants to at least play once with Stephen Curry. So they think he'll go to the Warriors, and in order for them to balance the amount of salary he'll get, they either have to take Draymond Green and Jonathan Kuminga and two other role players, or just one for one, him and Jimmy Butler. Which I doubt that would ever happen, because if they get rid of Jimmy Butler, well, now the team's going to be in the exact same position the Lakers are in, which is, well, actually, no, the Warriors are a lot worse, so they'll also be playing meaningless basketball. So the Lakers would have to take on a bunch of players that they don't need, because they don't fit Luka, just to make LeBron happy. But I don't think that's going to happen. It seems most likely that they'll trade him back to Cleveland and get somebody good from there, and make LeBron happy one last time.
Do that. My career started here, and I'm gonna, end it here, whatever.
But outside of the Clippers' terrible, terrible struggles on the court, we have recently found out. Now, a lot of the information that I'm going to discuss, I picked up secondhand from Pablo Torre, great ESPN reporter, and AM Hoops, who's another YouTube channel on YouTube here. Shout out to him. I think he does a really great job, not only speculating with some trades, but he also does a really good job covering stories in a very easy, digestible manner. Plus, he often cites the places he gets his information from. So shout out to Casey from AM Hoops. We found out recently through Pablo Torre's investigation of the Clippers that Steve Ballmer did a kind of like a quid pro quo with Kawhi Leonard and his agent, who's his cousin, who said Kawhi wanted a specific deal he wants a certain amount of money for doing nothing, but he wanted that for Toronto. Toronto said, we're not going to do it. We'll give you all the money at once, to do this, but there's no bonuses that we can give, because that sounds illegal. And the Clippers were almost not going to be able to offer too, because they didn't have the money. But Steve Ballmer started a shell company, or not? He didn't start a shell company. He got a collaboration with another company called Aspriation that was started by friends of his, that just so happened to make he made a $38 million investment into. Then they paid Kawhi $38 million to collaborate with them, to be a sponsorship person for them. Now, all of this would have been completely legal if Kawhi had done one advertisement for them to show that they were a legitimate company. He never did it. He got this whole collaboration Aspriation deal, which was kind of like a company that said, oh, we're going to teach people to be financially successful and independent, kind of like how Russell Westbrook does it for, I think, Ally Bank and so many other places. They promote like these financial independence programs to teach people financial literacy. Kawhi was supposed to do this, but he didn't. So he got paid $38 million extra at a single payment for nothing with his shady cousin. And then he signed I think it was a 7-year deal with the Clippers for probably, I don't know, $100 million or something. And so now that deal is being looked at by the NBA because this similar thing happened to the Timberwolves during the Kevin Garnett era, which is why they wasted his entire prime because they lost a few first round picks. Like they lost 3 years worth of first round picks, plus the contract of that big player that they had signed had become voided. So he was free to sign with any other team. And that basically ruined the window they had to win with Kevin Garnett. That seems possible to happen with the Clippers depending on the NBA investigation. What do you think of that? Do you think Mark Cuban says Steve Ballmer's innocent? He says Steve Ballmer did everything right, and Steve Ballmer would never have done this because he's not a stupid man. A lot of people are saying that Mark Cuban is not stupid either, but he's also wrong, and he's just currying favors with his billionaire friends. What do you think?
Well, I think it sounds pretty much legal. They did like just a really exaggerated loophole. Really exaggerated loophole to get around all this. But I honestly don't really think they did anything wrong. I mean, wrong as in, yeah, they they were doing this on purpose to get around it. It's but a legal loophole, kind of like how politicians or like Trump have used his whole life for eminent domain and other things to get what he wants. So it's smart on their part that they really pay attention. Well, maybe not even Steve Ballmer, but his cronies and lawyers. Someone's looking over fine print. What can we do to do this? And then they go out and they create this fake business and they do it. It's kind of like what happened recently in Minnesota with those daycares, right? So it's like they got these daycares, these Somali daycare centers, but there was no one in there, no children at all. And this YouTuber was the one going around filming and trying to figure out like where are the children, where are the children? They're all like, no, this is illegal. You go. And then after the video went viral and they talked about it a lot, and other people, the FBI and Kash Patel came down and they're like, oh, we got all these, and now they're praising us, saying, see, look, Tim Waltz and his Minnesota, Somali immigrant thingy and fraud. So if you could find a loophole, I mean, find it and go for it. That's what the Clippers did.
Another case that is solved by somebody else that Kash Patel is taking credit for.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And we're going to talk about Kash Patel too because he's very involved in
this NBA investigation, really?
Not this one, but one we're going to talk about soon because I was making the thumbnail for this video ahead of time because I knew what we were going to do this. And it's going to be a great thumbnail. If you're watching this video, you already see it and you know what I'm going to talk about. But before I get ahead of myself, it does seem like it would have been okay to do if Kawhi had done one photo shoot to put his face on fake like shell websites to say this company is going to happen, because not when he got the money, they couldn't continue getting more funding from other investors because they weren't doing anything. So they filed for bankruptcy and then they closed down. So he basically got a payout. He closed. They didn't do any advertisements that they were supposed to. They filed for bankruptcy to try to get more investors. Then they closed down. So this company no longer exists. But if he had done that one thing, they would have been scot-free. They said, well, they did it. It was just a failed venture by the Clippers partnering with with Intuit Dome, because not only did Steve Ballmer buy the property, right, but he was gonna have Aspriation be like a second wing in the Dome. Like they were gonna do something there for everybody, like, kind of like, because Intuit is a bank itself. Mm-hmm. So they were gonna have like Aspriation boots, and kind of like how the Ducks do with they have a health insurance. Like the Ducks sell this like, health insurance thing with OC Health, so the Clippers were gonna do something similar, but they never did it. It never came to fruition. Just didn't get enough hype, and it just turned into a shell company just to give Kawhi Leonard some money. So it seems like that's what they did that was wrong, and now it's up to NBA Commissioner Adam Silver to decide whether or not, one, was it wrong? Like, did they actually break the NBA loopholes? And if they do, what's going to be the punishment? Is it voiding Kawhi's contract like David Stern did in the past? Is it going to be seizing their first round picks for the next few years as a punishment? Is it going to be forcing Steve Ballmer to sell the team because he's no longer a trustworthy owner? And I believe the Timberwolves owner had to do the same thing. Like, he was forced to remove himself or sell the team in some aspect so he can lose a lot of his control. If the Clippers are found guilty, what do you think would be the appropriate response to what they tried to do to build a competitive team? You can't say he didn't try to build a competitive team by with all means necessary. He just didn't force Kawhi to do what he needed to do for the team. Steve Ballmer did what he needed to do for the team, but Kawhi didn't.
I don't think they're going to be found guilty of anything. We all know they are. We all know what they did is wrong. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious, but unless there's like hardcore evidence to show by the NBA's findings, or if any other type of other legal consequences, or like the FBI, whatever they do for that, then maybe, yeah. But if they don't have any hardcore evidence to prove it, then right now it's just like, we know you did it. It's like OJ, we know you did it. We just don't have enough to show if you did it, but we all know you did it. So like, we all know that it's pretty shady to do. If it just opened and nothing else and it folded, yeah, we all know they're playing some shenanigans right there. But I honestly don't think no one's gonna get in trouble.
Well, yeah, that's true. And the reason why it's not just like, oh, we heard this. It's kind of like how the Epstein emails are coming out. It's very slowly. There are the Ballmer emails that are coming out too. Now, what's incredible about these emails is that they don't express the plan. Like, oh, hey, we're gonna do this and give Kawhi the money. It's just kind of like, oh, hey, we set up Aspiration. Here's our investors. Do you have the $38 million that we agreed to, or kind of like, and then we can get Kawhi in on this deal, right? It's kind of like expressing how they've been saying that they're gonna do it this whole time. I think even Steve Ballmer gave an interview about it. He was like a little nervous. He looked a little nervous. He didn't really know how to answer the questions. He ducked and deflected most of the time. But he did say, we were honest about it the whole time. Like, this is a company. It was a failed company. Kawhi was since he's the star of our team, we were gonna do like this collaboration deal to have him the face of this company and the face of our franchise, like most NBA teams do it. Even AM Hoops, Kirk Casey shows how the Rockets used Chris Paul for State Farm and how they had businesses connected to pay him extra so he can play for them without having to spend their entire budget. And yeah, they did it the legal way. A lot of other teams who have local businesses did the same thing. And the Clippers, their only issue is there's no proof that Kawhi ever did anything for that company, which makes it really dumb. Because if Kawhi had a single flyer that just said Aspiration, financial independence, they're clear. But he didn't do that. He didn't even do that. He didn't want to. Apparently, I might be making stuff up. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I remember that there was supposed to be like photo shoots scheduled and he just canceled because he couldn't make it.
I thought I saw like advertisements though for Kawhi in the Aspire, but at the games, the ring they have. I'm pretty sure because I've been to so many Clipper games before. And I went to the couple of the Inuit Dome games, and before that, a lot of games at Staples. So I was pretty sure I saw like on the new stadium, they had him. I don't know when they folded, if it was this year, last year, or when they opened. But I'm pretty sure I thought I saw his face like just on their jumbotron thing or Clipper games at Staples Staples Center. I'm pretty sure I thought I saw Kawhi's face with this dumb name that I was like, what the fuck is that, deodorant?
Aspiration.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. It's like, what, nothing. I've seen that word. I've seen the logo. I don't know what it is. Nothing. I've heard nothing about it. Like, I've seen the name at Clipper games. I don't know what it is. And I was pretty sure I thought I saw Kawhi's face. So if they can find any pictures they use for that, maybe they could say, look, he did promote it. We promoted it at our arena, but we never put it anywhere else. Maybe that could save their asses. I don't know.
Because I think, a lot of these commercials that have athletes on them, they have either blank uniforms or they have a uniform with the company name on it. Like, I just saw a commercial with Jordan Love on it, and he wasn't in it. They mentioned him, and they showed a picture of him But he was wearing, it was for State Farm. He was wearing like State Farm colors, like a sweater. It was like State Farm. He had State Farm colors, and you knew it was original for this particular commercial because I don't know why the Packers would put him in red. Um, I just saw a Nike commercial with Wayne Gretzky. They were talking about Bo Jackson, and they made everybody say Bo knows tennis. There's Michael Jordan go Bo knows basketball, and then when Gretzky comes in, he goes no, and they're not wearing their team's colors because they don't own it, right? They have to pay money for that. So, like you said, if you saw Kawhi Leonard pictures on the rings, on the dome, I wonder if it was original, but you say...
No, it wasn't. I'm 100% sure they copied and pasted. I remember. I'm pretty sure I'm not making this up or having like those weird selective memories. I'm 100% sure I've seen Kawhi's face or like his whole body. And it's him doing the pose, like holding a basketball. The type of promo pictures, press pictures they take at the beginning of every season. I'm 100% sure I saw that exact body with the Clipper uniform on, put on the side of the giant ring they have Intuit Dome. It says that weird company name. It sounds like a deodorant, and it's just like I've seen that word everywhere, and I had no idea what it is. I always thought it was deodorant or something stupid. It felt like it didn't exist. Felt like it didn't. It almost felt like it wasn't real. Like it was one of those made up advertisements from the old 2K games.
What's funny is that Kawhi, when they were getting Kawhi, they knew he was lazy in terms of doing anything outside of just playing basketball, and they knew that he didn't like to do anything extra. So when they were signing this contract, they should have just said it's gonna be because I think it says it's gonna be a representation of the Clippers organization.
Not trying is a great representation of the Clippers organization.
So,
I agree with that.
Like in the contract, so I think if they should have said, we're going to give Kawhi this money to be a partner, but any of the members of the Clippers organization can represent Aspiration, and then they just throw like Zubats on there and just have him do it, and then you just give Kawhi the money. No, that looks super shady, but if it's a contract, it's a contract.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I saw it. I'm pretty sure it was copy and paste. Yeah, no.
And that's not the only thing of or I guess if there was a punishment, do you think it should be Steve Ballmer pay like a fine? If there's any punishment, should it be like $1 million a fine for trying to break the rules?
Then yeah, there should be like a heavy fine for doing that. There should definitely be some type of fine. I'm not sure about draft picks because I don't know too much about how basketball really works that much. Even though I watch like Clipper games, baseball is mostly my sport. Where when I get frustrated, I'm like, well, if you look back at the history of what they done and what they could do, they should be doing this, and here's that. Here's the old rule: if you gamble, whatever, you get banned, or this and that. So I'm not really sure too much of the history of the league in terms of punishment. But for other sports, particularly baseball, which is my main sport that I know and love, I think they should just fine it, but it shouldn't just be like $1 million. It should be like a couple of million.
Couple million.
Yeah, it should be maximum 25, minimum 5. It should be somewhere around that. I mean, come on, it's like $1 billion organization or something like that. Whatever the value.
Steve Ballmer's got money.
He's got money for something like that. It's yeah. You need to at least 5 million, minimum 5, maximum 25 million to fine him, teach him something. Draft picks, I don't know about that. Maybe they could null the contract because. If Kawhi, the next step is if Kawhi Leonard had any knowledge of this. That's the next step. If they would just tell him we're going to get your money somehow, but not saying that it's illegal, illegality, or whatever, and he didn't know, that's perfectly fine. Perfectly 100% fine. If he didn't know, then if they could find any proof of that, leave him out of it. Maybe not.
Find his cousin. His cousin.
Go after the cousin. Go after the cousin.
I'm sure his cousin would throw himself on in front of the train for Kawhi.
He would.
Ridiculous.
So either way, you're not going to get to him unless you got hard, proof that he did it. But other than that, if he didn't do it, then they shouldn't punish him. Punish the cousin. If they didn't have hardcore evidence that he knew of this, then like you said, terminate the contract. I don't know about the draft pick thing, but terminate the contract, fine him, fine millions for Steve Ballmer, do what you can about the cousin, ban him from ever being an agent or broker or whatever. All deal with it.
And it would be very hurtful to the Clippers to lose like 3 draft picks because they don't have their draft picks until 2029.
Yeah, they really gave up a lot.
They gave it up in the trade for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That trade is still screwing them over. So if they get Kawhi, or they trade for Paul George, right? Then they traded him away. They traded Kawhi. They traded Shai. They traded, or I should say, they traded Shai. They traded like 5 first rounders for him to get Paul George. They trade Paul George for nothing, and then they lose 3 more draft picks to the scandal because of Kawhi. They would not get a first rounder until like 2032, and they would just be unwatchable.
Yeah, but there's still hope. With Kawhi back, Harden having like maybe one of his best seasons now that he's old.
Harden's back.
Yeah, it seems like that they could make a run at the playoffs again. You know, chances are still small. I think Google and Sportbooks put them like at around 22%, like maybe 15% chance of making the playoffs, something like that. I saw earlier when I was like
very low, but not zero.
Not zero, exactly. They're on like a 4 or 5 game winning streak. Kawhi had a season career high, 55 points. There's a chance they could still make the playoffs. I mean, they're not that far from the 8th seed, you know, for that play-in spot. They are only the 10th, I think, 10th worst team.
Oh, yeah, 10th in the West.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, and
it's a play-in spot right there.
And it is it's the Kings and some other team that's, you know, at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So they still have a chance. They still have a shot to make the playoffs. And I've been a fan forever. I mean, this is a season membership, you know, for being a season ticket holder. This is right here in the bottom.
It's the original Clippers logo, isn't it? Even though they have the new one that they changed to, with the new little boat.
It is.
They have the original cursive writing.
2021, 2022 MVP member. Yeah, I've been a season ticket holder for a couple of years, and then I stopped when they moved to Inglewood because I'm not going to drive over there. It's ridiculous. You buy a whole new stadium for a team that sucks and hasn't won a championship, has only made the Western Conference Finals once, and you build them a stadium because we don't want to share our home with the Lakers because we want to make our own. You make your own when you got something to make, you know? I wouldn't be homeless and say, I want a child and a wife. Well, I'm homeless. I need to get a job first and show what I'm worth and then go use that and go start a family. That's the same thing with the Clippers. They got nothing. They basically live with their parents or their brother. They got no championships and they only made the finals once. That's the equivalent of only getting lucky with a girl once and that's it. You haven't gone all the...
No, that's equivalent of getting to first base, not even going...
Yeah, you had a girl over one time. You didn't go any further than that, and you're still nothing. And then now they're moving what? They're moving nothing. What type of history they have? Like a history of failure.
Oh my God!
They're bringing in a history of failure with a big giant TV. You know, it's like coping that your life sucks. So you get like a 55-inch TV, and you're like, this is my new life. I got my own apartment. It's like,
yeah, man, my pad's really nice. You know, yeah. I got air conditioning. I got a big TV. Hey, you guys should come over sometime. Talking to the Lakers when they play them into it now. They're like, hey, you guys should come over sometimes.
The only thing that they have to say that's nice is, the bathrooms are nice. Bathrooms are shiny. Steve Ballmer was talking about the bathrooms. The man is obsessed with piss, which explains the whole Clipper franchise. A history of and being pissed on. This is coming from a long-time Clipper fan. I've been watching the Clippers back when our mother used to say, why are you watching the reruns on Channel 5? You already know the outcome. They're going to lose. I didn't know the outcome, but we all knew most likely it was that they lost.
Remember that guy Norm Nixon on former Clipper on ABC News? He would say, when I was in the Clippers, he was like, we used to wear shirts to say, let's win 35 this year.
Let's win 20.
Let's win 20 games
this year.
That's sad.
It is.
I mean, it's far removed from that era of the Clippers, but they still haven't gotten over the hump. I mean, if the Clippers didn't like seeing the Lakers 17 championships, what they should have done was...
Cover it up like they did?
Like they did in 2014. They just put banners of their players over it and just do that every time.
Yeah. Back then when it was Paul George, like, here's a guy that keeps getting...
No, it was Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, right? DeAndre Jordan.
But even after when they got like the
They still did it?
big stars, yeah, they still. Well, because you don't go to Clipper games. They had like Paul George, they had Kawhi. Who else did they have? They had Batum. So it's like you got a guy who's getting old, a guy with knees, some French guy, and you got Zubac, and then they just added like I don't even remember the other guy. Oh, they had Jamal Crawford back then too, and Jamal Crawford was up there.
Arguably one of the greatest Clippers of all time.
Oh yeah,
He what's funny?
The all-time leader for the 4-point play.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He is, that kind of reminds me of that analogy you used about bringing a girl over. It's like when you brought the girl over at your brother's. You were living with your brother, and you're like, "Oh, that's my brother's room," and you just cover it up. You're like, "Oh, that's my brother's car." You know, just cover it up. You know, just throw the tarp over it. That's what they do with the Laker banners. Is they just cover up the Lakers' history with their current team.
I've seen the lowest of lows, the Donald Sterling era. I've seen when it was Corey Maggette and Lamar Odom, Elton Brand, when I think they made that playoff spot like, 2006, 2008?
Probably.
It was like their first playoff spot in like a while or whatever. And then I saw when Blake Griffin came. You know, he came from Texas or Oklahoma? Oklahoma. I remember he came in. They were like, look at this young guy in his first year.
Because they got the first round pick, right? They got the first overall pick.
And in his first year, he blew out his knee or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, it's toast. It's over. And then he came the next year, and that's when just history was made.
And they got DeAndre Jordan. Yeah. He finally came up after being drafted like with the second round.
DeAndre Jordan. They had Baron Davis. Baron Davis came over from Charlotte. They were like, "This is it." They had the famous jumping over the car.
Then they David Stern nixed the trade between the Lakers.
They had Chauncey Billups. Oh yeah, he said it was for the interests of the league, for like competitiveness, whatever. They got Chris Paul.
Honestly, if that trade had gone through, the Lakers probably would have won 2 more.
I mean, you did have.
It would have been Pau Gasol, Kobe, and
prime Chris Paul. So
it was prime Chris Paul. It would have been Kobe.
But then would they really have got along? Because we all know Chris Paul is like kind of like a dick. He's always been. He wants to like be in charge, and he's a specific way. And Kobe Bryant kind of was that too. So you have 2 strong personalities. Would that even have worked? You know,
that's true. Like I'm glad you brought up Chris Paul, because I do want to talk about him.
Chris Paul, but yes.
that just this whole debacle that happened between him and the Clippers. One of the reasons why they say this new relationship with the Clippers fell apart is because Chris Paul, in his geriatric state, has been used to joining young teams like the Spurs, the Rockets, and being the mentor. Like he's a real, hard head with them, and he tells them what to do, and they listen to him. They go, "This guy, he's the point god. He knows what he's talking about.
He knows ball.
He knows ball. He knows he can teach me to play like him." When he went to this Clipper team full of 30-year-olds, they didn't respect what he had to say.
Bro, I don't want to hear.
Yeah, basically, and they felt like he even though he gave them, probably good pointers, and they said they didn't like. Often he was right, and they didn't like to tell him that he was right when he would give them hey, you have to do this, and then they don't do it, and then they do it later, and it works out, and they don't like to tell him that he's right because he's just that. He's like that obnoxious.
The man had a costume party or whatever.
The Halloween party, and only Zubats showed up. Zubats and two other people.
I can picture him dressed up, being some type of king on. Hey guys, I brought the honey.
Because he's still a young guy too,
Yeah.
And he's a veteran, but he's still a young guy, and I'm sure he looks like a nice guy, I'm sure he doesn't want to upset his teammates. But I think if Chris Paul had gone to the Lakers, maybe it would have been another Dwight Howard situation, or maybe he would have just listened to Kobe, because he was relatively younger than Kobe at the time, right? Because he was young. He was like, he was 29, 28, something like that, and Kobe was 34. No, Kobe was not 34. If it was 2014, Kobe was like 34. If that trade was going to happen in 2014 when they got Steve Nash instead, I remember. Kobe would have.
I forgot Nash played for the Lakers.
Yeah, we got Dwight Howard and Steve Nash. You have the NBA cover of when they were together. It says, "Oh, this is going to be fun." When it has Dwight Howard and Steve Nash, but
oh yeah, man, that
was a record, and they still made the playoffs.
That was pretty much a bust. It's kind of like what the Clippers are doing now. They get all these old guys. They got like that guy that dated Kendall Jenner or whatever. What's his name? Ben Simmons.
Oh, Ben Simmons.
They got like all these washouts. People that just they're either have no cartilage left in their knees, or they're just way past their prime.
And remember, that was the the reason why Kobe didn't get along with Dwight is because Kobe called him soft and he got his feelings hurt. And he didn't want to play with Kobe. And then now, years later, as a grown man, he goes, Kobe was right. I was soft. Kobe was right. You know, and he goes, he was telling me that for my own good. He wasn't telling me that to insult me. He was telling me that the league was going to eat me alive if I wasn't tougher about things. He told me, you're soft. And I didn't, at the time, I was so arrogant. I didn't understand. I understand now. I had to toughen up there in Houston. When I got passed around the league, when no one would sign me, I had to get tough about it and just accept certain things. Kobe was right. So, and that year Kobe blew out his Achilles because he was scoring like 40. He was averaging like 37 points a game. He carried the Lakers to the 8th seed. But before he got there, he blew out his Achilles, and they got swept in 4 games to the Magic, or to Spurs, to the eventual champions. Do you remember that year? I was like, Fred Rogan. I love Fred Rogan where he goes, we're not going to even show you any highlights because it wasn't any.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that.
I'm going to let you know that they got swept. So, I think if Chris Paul had got traded to Lakers, since he was much younger and he was a point guard, maybe he would have just acquiesced and listened to Kobe. Because Kobe was such a dominant force. Like, he was still the guy. Like, LeBron was there, but he was the guy. But he didn't. And Chris Paul went to the Clippers. He was a jerk. Everybody hated him. Well, they locked poor DJ in a room for like 24 hours until he signed, and then he just ditched him. And then they signed Blake to a long contract. He said he was going to be a Clipper for life, and then a few days later they traded him to Detroit. And then eventually DJ left and went to sign with the Lakers. Then he signed with the Nuggets. And he was the first of the 3 of Lob City to actually win a championship with Denver. Can you believe that?
Also played for Brooklyn.
Yeah, he played for Brooklyn. That's right. That was his next team. Then he went to the Lakers. Then he went to Denver. I can't believe that he was the first out of the 3 to win a championship.
It's strange, huh?
That was strange. The guy who they thought, wasn't the most important member. Oh, it's Chris Paul. It's Blake Griffin. The guy who didn't think was the most important member got the championship, got the chip first.
Yeah, but in all fairness, he wasn't really he wasn't a starter. I remember, he wasn't a starter. He was kind of past his prime, but he was a role player. He was off. I do remember his stats. Like, he had almost season high for him, career high rebounds and like that. But he was nowhere, how he was before.
Wasn't prime DJ with the short hair.
Yeah.
But so in the second go around, they thought it was going to be a Cinderella story. Chris Paul was going to end his career with the Clippers, the team that I guess he seemingly is most remembered for. I remember him more from the Hornets than I remember from the Clippers, but that's another story. He didn't happen. He was the same Chris Paul that they got rid of the first time. The whole thing spawns from a fight that he had with Stan Van Gundy, the defensive coordinator for the Clippers, or defensive coach, I should say, the assistant coach. He said they were on a defensive assignment against Klay Thompson, Kawhi Leonard against Klay. Kawhi wasn't warm yet, so he saw him moving slow and kind of lackadaisically. So he said, switch. So they put Batum on Klay Thompson, and the defense was a lot better. And the next day, Stan Van Gundy calls Chris Paul and says, did you switch the defensive assignment? And no, they meet in a room. They take everybody into a room. And apparently what Chris Paul does to back himself up is he goes outside, he grabs people, and he gets people to agree with him. And he did the same thing. So he grabbed Batum, because it wasn't a defensive switch, it was just an adjustment. And he's like, look, I'm going to get him. So he got him. He said, was this a switch? And he goes, no. See? Told you, it wasn't a switch. And he goes, well, I don't care what it was. You don't have that kind of leeway over here. He goes, you may have had that leeway with other teams, but you don't have that here. And after that, Chris Paul posted the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of what leeway means on his Instagram story. And then apparently, after a few weeks after that, him and Ty Lue got into arguments. They had been on speaking terms for weeks, and then he got sent home on the flight to Phoenix. He got sent home to LA, and he posted about it online. And apparently now they're working out a deal to either trade him somewhere or waive him so he can sign with whatever team he goes. But it seems that if he's waived, that no team's going to sign him. What a sad, sad way to go out for a Clippers icon. You were against this move in the first place because you never forgave Chris Paul for what he did to Lob City. What do you think about when they brought him back, and how do you feel now?
Karma's a bitch. Definitely karma. It's the Clippers get back. They never forget. Even though It's funny. The entire NBA and the sports community was all saying how he got over, right? They're like, how can he disrespect a legend? Look how they did CP3. It's like, well, does anyone remember back in the day when he was complaining, saying Blake Griffin is too big. He's clogging up the lanes. I can't, he's just not good. And so they got rid of Blake. Then it was him and DeAndre. Then he bitched about DeAndre. Then he complained about it was Doc Rivers, I believe, right? The last coach he was on. Who was it? It wasn't Vinny Del Negro because no, it was Doc. Yeah, it was Doc because they got rid of Vinny Del Negro because they said he needs to.
Second round legend.
Yeah, he. What?
Doc Rivers, second round.
Oh
legend.
yeah, and he complained about Doc Rivers, and then they got rid of Doc, and then they like, you know what? Maybe the problem is you. It's like every word they gave him everything. I remember all of the sports journalists and critics and everyone was just pointing out all the obvious signs like, well, maybe it's Chris, and then one piece fell. It was like, well, it could be Chris or it could be this player, whatever he complained about. Another piece fell until finally just they're like, you know what? Yeah, it's just Chris Paul, and they got rid of him, and then that's why everyone hated him. That's why every time if you ever went to a Clipper game, it was always Chris Paul. And every time the fans would chant Chris Paul, Chris Paul, because the dude is a traitor. He and he complained, thinking like he was this great player, thinking like he knew better for the team and for the franchise, and he got rid of so many iconic people that made the Clippers what they are, and no championship. So really, who was it? Really their fault? Was it really Blake? Was it DeAndre? Was it Doc? Maybe it was Chris Paul to begin with. That's why Clipper Nation always hated him. Until for some reason he came back. Now it's like, oh, welcome back. I still refuse to believe there are Clipper fans that really welcomed him back. If everywhere he went, people were saying that, and mostly Clipper games. Like I said, I went to a lot of Clipper games, and it was always the same thing. Fuck Chris Paul. Every time he got the ball, there was footage I took. I forgot what year.
I reposted it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Terrence Mann, the 1v1 Chris Paul, and he everyone already knew. Okay, they all cleared out, and they're like, it's 1-on-1. Let's see, and people got excited for it. They wanted to see Chris Paul fail. Every time he got scored against, they cheered. Every time he missed, they cheered. Every time he had the ball, they booed. They just hated Chris Paul, and there's good reason for that. So, no, I don't feel bad for him. This is karma. This is exactly karma. You were and we got rid of good players. We got rid of a good structure. And then for what? For you, and you're not even that good. And then now you come back like, no, just fuck off.
Isn't it crazy though that that the deal that sent Chris Paul to the Clippers instead of the Lakers, that was nixed by David Stern, had Dwight go to the Lakers, and then Dwight left the Lakers for the Rockets to play with James Harden. And then Chris Paul left the Clippers to go play with Dwight Howard, James Harden, and the Rockets. So these two pieces that went to two teams because that deal was nixed ended up playing with each other. Isn't that something? That's a weird twist of fate.
Very weird. How the NBA works. So many players I feel like there are more players now that are leaving for multiple teams.
Yeah, there's no more one team forever type of guy. I thought the last guy would have been Damian Lillard, and it wasn't. Now he went back. He's back there now, but because he got waived. But he's back with the Blazers. I remember he mocked Paul George for team hopping and ring chasing. When Paul George was like, "Oh, hey, see you in Cancun," and then because they eliminated them.
I remember that, yeah.
And then Damian Lillard was like, "Keep team hopping and ring chasing. I stick to the grind." And then he tried to ring chase himself with Giannis. Then Giannis went to cry to the Bucks that his team sucks. So they waived him, and then they signed Miles Turner. And, now he still wants to be traded to go somewhere else, and he refuses to take the blame, but that's another story. I remember Coach Tony, shout out to Coach Tony, who we had on the show. He once told me CP3 more like CP0 because he's talking about his championships.
I said there is a reason why people hate him. I don't know why right now there's such this big, pity party. Feel bad for him. How
Even Blake felt bad for him. Remember, he was the biggest person who got betrayed by Chris.
When he was talking, he kind of he made some like little reference, kind of saying like, whatever we had, against us, it's over. Like, but he remembers that happened. It was because he got rid of him, then DeAndre, then the coach, and then they nixed his ass. And there's a reason why. Like I said, Clipper games, they were always saying, Clipper fans know what I'm talking about. They've hated him for a long time. I hated him too. He broke up a good team, well, because of him. So every time he came up, I was along all those chants saying Chris Paul.
Didn't they when he got reintroduced to this team this season to the fans, didn't he get booed?
I don't. He may have.
I think I saw a video of people booing him when they were like Chris Paul, or he got like either that or very little cheers.
It may have been like a mixture, but you understand. There's no one at the Clipper games no more, so it's like 10 fans cheering and 5 fans booing.
The Intuit library.
Yep.
Yeah, that. I love hockey psychology, and he's a big fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and because they're doing really, really bad right now, they're terrible. He calls their stadium the Scotiabank Library because he's saying that they're very quiet. So I think that's what we'll call it now, the Intuit Library.
I mean, hey, if you're homeless, you could just live over there. It's like $10 for a game, and then you got like for $10 you get like $5 hot dog and a drink.
Yeah, and the drinks are unlimited, right? Unlimited access to the fountain.
Yeah, something like that. Bring your cup or whatever they say, and you get free soda and water. So it's like there's 31 home games.
41. So out of 82 games, 41 home games.
There you go. It's a place to stay warm and relax because there ain't no one cheering for them. And quiet. You can just sleep, eat.
Doors open early sometimes, Bunch of warm-ups. But no, yeah, I think it is such a crazy thing for the Clippers that has happened. I've often said, even in our fantasy basketball group chat, I'm like, it's a tough year to be a Clippers fan for anybody who still is a Clippers fan. That Clippers fan of 45 years, switched teams. He switched to the Lakers.
Clipper Daryl?
No, that guy on Instagram. Remember, he posted an open letter to the Clippers.
Like the water boy, the towel boy, or something.
Is that who he was?
Something like that.
Because I know he was like a big long.
I forgot who he was, but there was someone that got in trouble too for the Kawhi thing or whatever.
I think they said it was the towel boy.
Yeah, was it the towel boy? It was someone else that actually got fired and then someone else that left or whatever. I don't remember.
This was an open letter.
So many stories.
This was an open letter that, remember Blake Griffin said, "Find your peace, King."
Yeah.
That was a 45-year long Clippers fan, and he was like at the end telling him how much they broke his heart for what they've done to Chris Paul, I guess. And then he was like, "Go Lakers." He switched sides.
It's stupid.
And then Blake was like, "Find your peace, King."
That's like me going, "Oh no, McDonald's got rid of the McRib permanently, joining the Taliban."
Oh, how dare you call the Lakers the Taliban? That's crazy.
It's just ridiculous, dude. I'm gonna go to the Lakers now because this one little incident broke my heart. Ooh.
I felt like I felt like trading the Blake part should have done that a long time ago. Like, they obviously had no respect for a guy they drafted, their franchise player. Chris Paul came in on a trade. This is a guy they drafted. He signed, and he said after he signed the 7-year contract, "I'm going to be a Clipper for life." A few days later, bam, he's in Detroit. He's in Detroit hell.
It's funny how that broke his heart, the way they treated a legend, and it wasn't the racist owner that said, "I buy them houses, and I feed them, and I clothe
give them jobs."
Out of something that you could say, "I'm done with this organization because of the racist owner." No, it's the way they treated Chris Paul.
I guess not as long as Chris and Blake still played for them. He was going to keep his commitment. But now he's like, nah, disrespecting this man is too much. It's too much. And now he's with the LeBron and the Lakers.
Welcome.
The last thing I want to bring up real quickly is because you brought up Chancey Billups. And there's been another gambling controversy.
I think I know. Yeah.
That this one, Cash Patel can finally claim credit because the NBA this time was the incompetent investigators. The NBA discovered that Chauncey Billups, Gilbert Arenas, and LeBron's trainer, one of LeBron's trainers, and a few other people from other sports were holding illegal poker tournaments in Gilbert Arenas' house.
But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families.
In fact, there are pictures he posted on Instagram that they showed where he's like, it's like Gil's place, and it's a big poker table saying how he's gonna play games there and stuff he was bragging about. And then he was arrested last year based on that, and he was like, I'm gonna snitch. Just said he was gonna do it, just go for it, and apparently he has, because now they've arrested Chauncey Billups. They've arrested who was that other former player they got? It was Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, who's been a subject of illegal gambling recently. Before that, but now they got Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier. They're pleading their innocence. Somebody said that Chauncey Billups was a good man. He's an honest man if you know him, and you know he would never do something like this. I don't know, but Gilbert Areanas has snitched, and
I'll just be honest with you. I don't know who them was, but they not. It don't look like they was getting out. Yeah. I don't know what language they speaking, but I was like, yeah, nah, it look like y'all stressed. But all right, partner. Hey, y'all, good luck in court. Hey, man, because I'm pretty sure I ain't going to be there when it's time to go, because, yeah, I'm snitching. I don't know your name. What's your name? Igor? Yeah, all right, let's write that down. Igor. Yeah, he did something. You look like you guilty. I'm going to just be honest.
the only reason... the only reason why...
He does seem like a snitch. Little podcast thing or whatever he has.
Gil's place. That's what it's called, Gil's place.
He comes off like.
He called it Gil's Arena. Why didn't he call it Gil's Arena? He calls it Gil's place. He called it Gil's Arena. He's Gilbert Arenas. No Chill Gil. This is another nickname, and obviously now we know why. And I bring it up because I thought about something. Kind of all connected. Chauncey Billups used to play for the Clippers. Chris Paul is being waived from the Clippers. The Clippers are having this weird deal with Kawhi Leonard. Is it a possibility that all these things are connected some way?
No.
No?
I wouldn't think so, no. Because Chauncey Billups only played for the Clippers for like 2 years, and then I think he was, some type of coach or something?
He's a coach. He was the coach of the Blazers. Now he's in jail for this very gambling.
He's actually in jail?
I believe he's in custody.
Damn.
And him and Terry Rozier, they're both.
But what is the charge? Could they say gambling? Were they fixing games? Were they betting on games, or were they just at home, playing poker? Because if that's so, just let the fucking man gamble. Like, it's just ridiculous. We have more things like the Epstein files and all this other bullshit going on. You got those Somali, Minnesota daycare things. Like, they just barely figured out after years of giving out all this millions of dollars of taxpayers' money.
No, man, no. Chauncey Billups is a terrorist, and he should have the book thrown at him.
And you're gonna really go after some guys that are just playing some poker?
Remember, they said that there's no list, and that he never trafficked to anybody. But Chauncey Billups, he called. He didn't fold. He called, and that was his biggest sin right there when he played.
What a waste of my tax dollars.
Then Cash Patel finally got his man. He got his man. He got Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier. And it's pretty close to LeBron because he had a trainer. But when
we got him, boys.
I'm surprised he didn't go, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. He's like, we got Epstein? No, we got Chauncey Billups.
Goes up with that weird, awkward talk face he has whenever he has a speech. So like,
I want to thank the brave men and women.
Guys, yeah, so, I just... Like, he came off such, like, he was going to make a difference in the FBI, and now he just seemed like just a total... Like, he bowed down and took whatever that bureaucrats and all the politicians are threatening him with, and now he's just like...
Now Dan Bongino is resigning as well. Did you hear that? He's stepping
Yeah,
down next year.
probably the only man with some real morals and balls. He probably saw all that's going on. Cash Patel is like, no, I'll continue taking the finger in my ass, and you know, you could do it too. And he's like, I ain't gonna do that, and that's why he's resigning. You know for sure, Dan Bongino saw some, and he's like, we should do our job and actually make a service to the people.
So do you think when he goes back on his show, he's actually going to say the things he saw, like the conspiracies were right? Or he's just going to say, oh, it was great, we did great work, and I'm proud of the work.
There's a possibility he is going to start to be like those people that
deflect.
Say, no.
Or what do they call it? The defects from Trump?
He's going to be like those people that are like, they claim that they were in all the UFO programs and all that stuff. You know how they say it, but then they say classified, and you can't say anymore. He's going to be one of those people that's going to insinuate that there was a lot of things that the FBI wasn't taking seriously, blatantly ignored, covered up, but he's going to do it in a way where it's not going to be so out there. But you know he's going to say something. He's like, I didn't like the way it was run, how they were handling it. No sense of urgency, didn't take things seriously. He's going to say something like that. He's probably not going to go out and say everything because you can't. He'd probably get legal trouble and kill him. Like we know the government kills people. That's a known fact. We kill people. We've killed MLK. We've killed
Malcolm X.
Yeah, we've killed so many people.
JFK.
And then just recently, there was a guy that was making clean like fusion energy at some. He gets killed.
Oh, the guy from TikTok.
They're known for doing like this, and he knows better, so he can't say anything right out. But like, he's gonna be saying like, you know, there were things I didn't like there.
Who's he throwing under the bus first, Cash or Pam Bundy? Because we know he's not going to throw Trump under the bus. Like, the president was great the whole time. He listened to my concerns every time I brought it up to him.
I mean, maybe he might.
It was.
Who knows? But mostly Pam, because they have an argument. It was them. Yeah. Most I know that definitely is going to be Pam. Then he's probably going to say the rest of the people in the FBI. He's going to come out and say something like, "We weren't allowed to do what we were supposed to do. We were told no. We weren't taken seriously or whatever." Yeah, it's all going to come out like that. But we got the gamblers. Yeah, forget people.
Chancey Billups.
Forget people, 8 and 12-year-olds. You know, forget that. We got the real criminals gambling.
It was kind of set up as far as when Cal Gill was running it. He was running it like a casino. So he was running his house, his mansion in California, I believe, where it's illegal to host gambling tournaments. He was hosting it like a real organization. They were betting hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think they said Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups made like $400,000, even though that's
not bad.
That's like about a quarter of what they actually make in the NBA. So people are confused because they're like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would he throw everything away for a fraction of what he makes in the NBA? And some people are like, maybe he did it for the love.
Man,
the love.
Man's gotta have hobbies.
I guess he can't do it for free. He's gotta do it with some risk. That's the risk that gives him that little edge, makes him a little hard, you know.
I mean, it's just fun. I would do it too. I mean, there's around in this area too. If you know the people you know, there's some back alley Chinese slots.
I've seen those. Yeah, those. Actually, that's a very interesting story. There's a documentary that was made on the Mothman, and there's a very interesting thing that you see those Chinese gambling games that we used to see in Amati. Remember, they were at like that liquor store where Superior was. It was Superior Food for Less. You go in, they have like this weird gambling machine in the back. Those are usually associated with the mafia. From this video I saw from Blame It on Jorge. He was covering a documentary that was done by his friend on the Mothman. It's a really interesting video. I think I'll look up that documentary later on. But as far as Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups go, the reason why they're in much more trouble is because they are being accused of fixing some games. Terry Rozier, in particular, had his his unders go way up during a certain game that he was going to score under a certain amount of points. Mm-hmm. And he went out with an injury during that game. Mm-hmm. So anybody who would have bet on his unders would have made a ton of money, like $100,000. And whenever that happens, there's a website that flags this activity because it means that they're coordinating a bunch of bets on a single guy for something to happen. It's exactly what happened with Jonte Porter, because he there were text messages between him and his bookie. He was like, "Hey, tell these people that I'm gonna play for 2 minutes, bet on the unders. I'm gonna tell the coaches that my eye's acting up again and I can't continue." what happens? He plays for a little bit, misses a few shots, running, grabs his eye during a timeout. You see him telling the coach, "My eye, like I can't play, and he doesn't come back in the game. And so because that was so obvious, he obviously got banned from the NBA for the rest of his career. He can never come back, can never play again. And his brother, Michael Porter Jr., is obviously very sad and disappointed that his brother was such a degenerate. And now the same thing might happen to Terry Rozier and Chancey Billups. If they're found that this actually happened, the next person that is assumed to go down for this is Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley of the Pistons. He had some strange activity going on. There was this Twitter account that was posting, the next person, their first name has 5 letters, starts with M, and they put M, and they put the little underscores, and B, and they put the same underscores for Beasley, 7 letters, Beasley, and people go, Malik Beasley? Nah, bro, don't say it ain't so. And then he was also under investigation for this gambling rigging. Pablo Torre, again, this is another Pablo Torre investigation. He reached out to this guy, not expecting a response. He got a response back. Pablo was like, "Hey, how do you know this? Who are you? Can I talk to you in an interview?" The guy did. He talked to Pablo in an interview, a phone recorded interview, because he had seen some things he found on Reddit that the guy had deleted. He didn't realize Pablo found. So he had him make certain statements. He showed him the evidence that he found that he posted on Reddit, contradicting his original story, and then the guy kind of walks it back. And then he hangs up on Pablo after he realizes this is looking bad. So it seems that Terry was gambling. Seems like Chauncey Billups was gambling. It seems like Malik Beasley is going to go down next. What do you think about Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier? I know you said just let the guys gamble, but if they were fixing games, there was a moment where Chauncey takes out one of their star players and he puts like their bench warmer and sets him on LeBron and said, "Oh, bro, this is so obvious. Like they put LeBron on the ice, so him to block LeBron on the ice. Why would you do that?" They think he was fixing games to lose them so he can win more money. What do you think of that?
That's a big difference. If it has to do with fixing games and not just a couple of guys having an illegal ring of gambling tournaments, which is just let them do that. That's stupid. But if they are actually fixing games and you got proof that they are doing it like that while they are active in the NBA, then jail time, fines, and ban them forever from the NBA. I always take the integrity of sports seriously. And anytime there was any type of cheating or something that can influence the play of the game, you gotta punish them forever. Like there should have been some, even though they weren't gambling, there should have been some severe suspensions and punishments for the Houston Astros. They blatantly cheated. There should have been severe punishment for that, and there was basically nothing. Alex Rodriguez got the longest suspension in baseball history.
It's like 250 games.
Yeah, for steroid use. These guys actually cheated in a championship game, and they all got nothing.
Not just in the championship game, throughout the entire season.
Throughout the season.
Throughout the playoffs. And the World Series.
So it's like, I always take the integrity of sports seriously. Whenever someone commits something as bad as that, where it's going to influence other structures of the game, how teams could possibly make the playoffs. I mean, it's just, you got to do something. It has to be severe punishment. But if it's just some guys at home, like some Chinese slots, whatever, fuck it. I mean, it's crazy that they would want to do that, making more money playing or, associating with the NBA, or they're on TV as a panelist or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird, but they got hobbies, and if that's what they want to do. But just don't fucking throw games and, do shit like that. That's no, you should be banned forever. But go ahead, do your Chinese slots.
As far as the Astros go, and then the COVID season prevented them from having their humiliation tour. Where they go around every stadium for 162 games being booed by people. But they didn't forget when the games came back, but it wasn't as ferocious as it should have been in 2020. Yeah, because the COVID prevented anybody from being in stadiums
Mm-hmm.
when they played each other, which is very disappointing. But as far as the NBA and well, some of the things that are going on in the NFL that I showed you some videos of that seems to be and it's the Vegas Raiders too. It happens to be the Vegas team that is doing all this crazy seemingly fixed place, but we'll get into that maybe in another episode. But for now, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about this entire episode. Just the Clippers, because he's a big Clippers fan, so I had to have a representation, Clippers representation on here, because
MVP sweater.
if I'm here, I'm a Lakers fan, and then I don't know what Jay's favorite team is. I don't think he's that big of a basketball fan.
I don't think he even watches sports. I don't even know what that guy does in his off time.
He's Batman, actually.
You know what? That makes sense.
Yeah, he's Batman. That he told me. So now the whole audience is gonna know that he's Batman. He's cleaning up the streets, keeping the streets clean.
It has been quiet.
Yeah, that's why he could make it today. You know, he's out being Batman. His Batmobile got a flat tire.
He got sprayed with Scarecrow's gas.
Now he's having visions. Or he's with Catwoman. You know, you never know.
Cat boy.
Hey, we don't judge. We don't judge here. If he's with Catboy. Well, I mean, I would want him to be with Catman, not Catboy. Okay, Catman.
Also, have you seen the picture, that video of Nick Fuentes where the super chatters told him, "Oh, like you've been exposed, whatever. We saw you out with a femboy." He's like, "It wasn't a femboy, it was a cat boy." He goes, "All right, I've never been seen with a femboy. I've been seen with a cat boy." He's like, "Get your facts straight."
You were like,
yeah,
being seen is a very interesting choice of words.
Just fucking roasted him like they both are terrible, Nick.
Well, I mean, that guy Catboy Kami claims that he took Nick's virginity. He always says, "Oh, I took Nick's virginity. I was Nick's first kiss." This is what he said.
Not my king, but
wow. If he's a gay Mexican, he's not your king. That's crazy.
But that is weird that he is. I don't know. I kind of believe that he is gay, but then I kind of don't. But then I kind of do.
Well, I think his whole thing is a grift. I think he is just lying about being a white nationalist because he knows it's so easy to make money off of these white supremacists who can't actually do anything and have no personality. So he knows if he represents them, they'll just flood his inbox with money. He'll flood his bank accounts with whatever money they have from whatever it is that they do. And he just has to keep the grift going. Like, I don't think he actually believes in anything he says. I think he does it for the money. And look, if he's doing that, I'd rather the money go to a Mexican than an actual white supremacist. You know, if he's out there pushing dangerous rhetoric, as long as it's going to a Mexican, that's one who actually believes it, like Gypsy Crusader.
I love Gypsy.
You know, I think that's what I take away from Nick. I think he's a grifter, a funny grifter, but a grifter nonetheless. But that was this episode. We talked about the Clippers. We talked about Chancey Billups, and I think my favorite FBI director who's hilarious on accident. You know, Cash Patel. So I want to thank everybody for watching today's episode. If you want to get more episodes like this early and uncensored, you know what to do. Subscribe to our Patreon. Only $3 a month. We get early access, bonus content, and it helps support the channel to not only just produce podcasts, but future projects that we have in the works coming soon. Also, we thank our sponsor, Dubby, for sponsoring the show. Use promo code TOTV at checkout for 10% off any order. Jay, we know you'll be back soon in the next few episodes. Can't wait for you to come back and talk more about degenerate gambling, just like we did today, because that's a favorite topic of ours. But I'll see you all next week, and remember, don't be a chump. Come on.
I gotta do that?
Yeah.
What?
There we go.
Be a chump.
No, don't be a chump. There we go. Don't
disgusting pervert. Like, go mess with hookers and see Ling Ling, smoke a pack of Newports, drink Colt 45, do all the things I do. God damn it. I feel like if Jay was here, that would
it would have gone off a lot better.
Yeah.
He would have, like, no, because he said you said be a chump. He would say no, don't be a chump. No.
I miss him already. I miss him so much.
He'll be back soon.
I want to kiss him.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.